and I'm going to use that $5 to buy Netflix. Well, Netflix stock price, I'm looking
Wow.
this up because I don't
You can
remember.
buy Netflix for just $5?
Yeah, have you seen the crap they made for Christmas? Of course you can.
Do I?
Live without you. All right. Oh, I think this was one of the random ones. I'm gonna let you start on this one, because honestly, you should be a little bit more ahead of the game right now since you're younger.
Hopefully.
How, Daddy? How do I plan for retirement?
I think the first thing you got to do is if your company has any kind of matching for 401k, fully do whatever they're going to be putting into it. So I think if I think with mine, and I haven't looked at it in a long time, I think if I put in 5% of my paycheck, my company will match 4%. Like they'll put another 4% in. So I'm getting 4% for free. And I think that's relatively standard for larger corporations. And so do that, and definitely start as early as you can, because the longer you have for that interest to compound,
Yep.
the higher it's going to be in the end. Because the big part of retirement is that compounding interest building up over time. Just like with your, like any type of loan or like your mortgage, you're going to be paying so much in just interest versus what you actually borrowed, and it's because of that's just how interest works. I know this is paraphrasing, but when I was a teenager, I heard a quote that was basically, those who understand interest earn it, and those who don't understand interest spend it. Something to that effect.
It's a lie. But
What's
it
a
works
lie?
for now. All of the way our banking systems are set up, and the annuitizations and the interest, it's such a mess. I don't want to get into, because on the surface I fully agree. Work the system that we have, and I tried that with my kids when they both got decent jobs. I took them to Stash, which is an app, Stash, Stash. I like it over Robinhood, because Robinhood is more active in microtransactions and tradings, and I that if you remember a year or two ago now, where GameStop stock got run way up and then
got memed up.
That was through Robinhood.
Right? Yeah, it was so much so that Robinhood,
they've had to put stuff in place now. Yeah.
They actually, Robinhood actually made it so that people couldn't trade GameStop for a little while there.
Of trouble for that. It was.
They did.
Yeah. But Stash is really a hedge fund kind of deal where you can do a couple different things. And what I use it for is I make sure to put $5 a week, so it's roughly $20 a month, into stocks that I then go and pick. And you can buy one. So a hedge fund. This is oversimplification. Please feel free, as an accountant daddy out there.
Disclaimer: not financial
we're not
advice.
Professional, exactly. But if you are a professional daddy out there in any of these categories we talk about, by all means, give us a speak pipe. Shoot us an email. Show at wnnShow@gmail.com. And let us know in easy to understand terms how it works. So while it's not necessarily, the idea is on Stash, I want to put $5 in, because it's what I can really afford to put in for stocks right now. And I'm going to use that $5 to buy Netflix. Well, Netflix stock price, I'm looking this up because I don't remember.
You can buy Netflix for just $5?
Yeah, have you seen the crap they made for Christmas? Of course you can. No, but no, you can't. Even one share is, I don't know, like $100. But because it's put in with a whole bunch of others, I own a fraction of a stock. Now I've actually got to a certain point where I own full on shares in certain companies, NVIDIA being one, and I bet on them first, and that was before the AI boom. Let me tell you, they're the ones that are carrying me forward right now. But I just do that. I buy pieces of stocks and I spread it out, and I use some of the advice, right? But it's $20 a month. So it takes a while. I think I'm up to, I think I've put in by my stats. I put in like 3,000 over the last few years, and I have almost $7,000 in my account. Not a ton of money, but it's working for me, right? You can also do IRAs and retirement. So I do $20 a month in long term, and it's very functional, right? It's not a, oh, you get to go pick like stocks. It's you pick long term, short term, aggressive growth. You pick categories, and that's what you run with. And so I picked long term growth to the point where I put another $20 a month. I'll pick aggressive growth, and they handle all of that. So I try to set that up for my kids because it's like, hey, at $5, even $5 a month, you can start building your future. They didn't stick with it, and that's okay. I agree with Joe. If you're at a company that does it, match it. To me, I would say inside the company, only do what it takes to get them to match, because you should also have a different account for yourself. That could be there's a couple different ones. Please consult a professional before you run on this.
Yep.
These are just ideas and answers. But
because there's some that it's specifically for retirement, and if you touch it early, there's a penalty to pull it out. Whereas there's others where you can put into it and take out without that type of penalty. And so I haven't looked into there's lot of the nitty gritty
on now. There's some you pay taxes on later when you pull it out. So yes, yeah. But also
it's very convoluted. So consult a professional.
Joe, I don't know if you remember, but I always talk about the dirty COVID money at Dragon Con. Like, if you got that COVID money, throw it in the bin. But that's literally what I do. If I get cash for something, I have a bin in my house that is, we have a picture of the Gaverny Gardens on it. It's kind of like our dream fund. Throughout the ages, people have had those water jugs, and you put your money in, and you go to Disneyland when it gets full, those kind of things. So it's just kind of that. I just put my cash into a little bucket that's hidden that says, I'm not going to touch this. And it's going to go towards a trip to the gardens outside of Paris, basically, one day. I also have a secret squirrel account. I set this up way back. ING, I don't even think that was the first one, but there was a bank that came online in the early days of online banking, and my wife and I got a savings account because they were paying like 6% return in the year. It was huge comparative to their bank. Ultimately, they got bought out, and ultimately it slowed down the percentage, as you will.
Well, there's a reason why they got bought out, I'm sure.
Well, and there's markets, and it's now Capital One 360 owns it. But for every month for a decade, I don't know, for long, it got accidentally cut off at some point. I don't remember what happened, and I discovered it cut off for a few months. I think I had to change my bank account or something, and just didn't reattach it. But for the most part, over a decade, I just been putting $20 into there in the secret squirrel account, and it was a few years ago that I even revealed it to my wife. Like, yeah, I've been saving money, and now basically we have this much money to go on a trip. And at the time, we could have taken the trip, but we weren't going to get passports in time. And we've been putting off getting passports. Just, I don't know why we just have. And now the world's more expensive, so I'm going to have to save up some more. But yes, my personal plan is to be independently wealthy. So I'm working my karmic butt off on attracting that money. Georgia Lottery can be, but in essence, many avenues, because you don't want to work forever. I'm only 48. I don't want to work now. I've been saying working's for the poors. I want to be rich, man. I'm tired of working.
I've got a friend. He was talking a little bit to me about his long-term goals financially, and him and his family. So his dad, and I think a couple of his brothers. They have a pest control business here. Okay. So they started a franchise. And so I asked him, was like, what is the goal with that? And so he was like, the goal is eventually to sell it. We're building up the franchise, and then we're gonna sell it, because the franchise in and of itself isn't worth a whole lot. It's the client list that's worth a bunch.
Yep.
And so what they're doing is, while they're building the business, is they're also looking at commercial real estate that they can buy different places to rent out for offices and stuff like that. So he's diversifying into real estate, and I think they still own their house from before they moved here. I think they lived in Idaho and they're renting it out. And so they're like, we don't, basically he made it sound like they don't sell any of, when they buy a new place, they don't sell it, they rent it out and then they buy a new place when they move.
And it just takes planning. It takes
Mhm.
sacrifice and planning. And when I say sacrifice, I mean not what I did. I live paycheck to paycheck, meaning I spent more money than I had in most cases. But right now, I didn't start my retirement fund 5-6 years ago, right? So in my early 40s. You really do want to start something like a stash, something that just takes, it's an app, right? Everybody does apps nowadays. It's easy. So you just set it up. It takes it out of your bank account, make it affordable, like $20 a month. So no matter how my money went up and down, I never touched that $20 because at the end of the day, $20 was not going to make a difference in my putting food on the table or not, right now. Because if you're at that point, here's the reality, in my opinion. If you're at the point that $20 means putting food on the table tonight or not, I hope you have a support system around you. Like we have family that would feed us, type of deal. We have food banks in our communities we could go to, that kind of deal. So obviously you got bigger problems. You don't plan for retirement if you're trying to live.
Yeah.
But I was not trying to live. I was playing.
Yeah. If you're in survival mode, retirement isn't the thing you should be worrying about at that point.
Yeah. But I thought I had another one, but essentially, Douglas. Okay, so you talking about your buddy Hugh Morrison, black shirt, bald head Hugh. He and his brother run their family company, small little thread company. In and of itself, it is not super valuable. Even their machines, people, because they do a bunch of they're one of the only companies in the nation that does certain types of stuff because they have the old machines that do it. And he's got the knack, so he knows how to keep those machines running. I was talking to him this last time he was here. The machines might not even be worth all that much. It's the client list, like you said. It's the client list that's there. That's his retirement. I'm sure he's saved up. I'm sure he's put stuff away. He owns a condo, so when he does retire, now when he retires, he's going to sell it. He's going to move down here with us. But he'll get money from the condo, whatever. But it's the business. When they sell the business, they're both going to be fine for the rest of their lives. But Douglas works for the government. He got in about 22 years ago, somewhere in there. And so immediately, at first, he had to take his paycheck and live off of it because he's making $19,000 a year. And even 20 years ago, that was not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But because it's the government and, they have these grades and blah, blah, blahs and promotions, whatever, he's now making just over $110,000, $120,000 a year. He lives off of like 40 to 50. And he has maxed out all the matching they'll do because they have actually 2 or 3 different retirement accounts he can do and something else. And he's maxed it out to where, quite honestly, like I play with you. I play like I do with you, the bad guess on anime. I play with him. Like, okay, where's the retirement at now? And I guess, and I'm usually close. He could, if the government would let him. That's a whole different story. They keep bumping that you can't retire. He could leave right now and keep a lot of his retirement, but he won't get a bunch of other benefits that if he just they just keep moving that marker down. Anyway, notwithstanding, if he retired right now, he wouldn't have to work for the rest of his life. And he's
that's 45, how retirement usually works.
46. Dude, have you been to Walmart? Have you seen the age of people in Waffle House?
Yeah.
People, so yes, you're right. If you plan correctly, that's how retirement is supposed to work. Exactly. Yeah. Most Americans don't, and it's
well. You know why? You know why Walmart hires old people, especially as their greeters, right? They had that scandal.
We did the bad dad.
No. This isn't a bad dad joke. They had that scandal where they were opening up life insurance. No, they were opening up life insurance policies on their employees.
Oh, I don't remember if I heard.
And so they would collect when their employees died. So they hire a bunch of old people as their greeters and whatnot, and then they take out life insurance policies on them. Man. And for some reason, that's allowed. That's legal.
If you sign
shady
off,
as all get out, but apparently legal.
I have no idea. I have a friend of mine whose husband passed away about a year ago, and she's lost. She's struggling right now. She's scrambling. She's, I think, over 60. I can't remember exactly her age, but there was a lack of planning there because he got sick. I mean, the sickness took about 3 years to get him, but he got sick kind of suddenly, and then they stopped all the things they were doing that were bringing in lots of flow of money, and used a lot of that to pay for his health care and that for 3 years,
Yeah.
whatever. But she's stuck, and now she's having a hard time because she needs income and needs a job. So lack of planning, like anything in life, will get you wrecked. I've thought about that in the long run of like, well, if I weren't providing for my family, what would happen? They would figure it out. They would have to, you know. But to the point of even investment properties, I think when my dad passes away, Amy and I are supposed to sell the house. That's my sister. We're supposed to sell the house. I don't think she's going to outlast him, but that's another story. But my wife and I were talking about not selling it. If I had to buy out my sister's part of it, depending on what the market shows, and use it as a rental or an Airbnb. I know the Airbnb thing has its own controversies going on right now, but Verbo. So I like the idea if it holds, if it doesn't get ruined in our society conceptually.
Yeah.
I like the idea of going, hey, here's a house that is very close to UGA. So you're big fans. You come in for all the big games, whatever. You can rent the house for a weekend, for a week. But I like that idea versus renting a month at a time. But it is income that's kind of passive. And that's honestly, that's the other way I plan for retirement is my goal is to set up passive income. And I've got a little bit rolling here. And, when we become huge stars off this podcast, the royalties we get off the past episodes, that's all I need, man. It's like, we're out. We're just retired on the beach somewhere and the money's still rolling in. So that's some good stuff. Do you, I don't know if you say offers it, but do you have retirement set up for your kids? Because sometimes you can do that when they're underage. Also, I know Georgia offers the path to college that you can invest in tax-free, that either they use it to go to college, or like in Oakland's case, we're going to start looking, I think it's age 25, that if they don't go to college, they can actually cash it out.
That they can just pull from it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a trust fund, but specifically earmarked.
Plan, I want to say is what it's called. I don't know if it's just Georgia. I don't know. But yeah, kind of. Yeah. And of course the state, whoever, I don't know if it's federal. I don't know if it's the state. I just know it's like the Path to College is the official name of it. 660 plan. But I can donate $3,000 or $6,000 a year max and write that off 100% of my taxes. And then, yeah, it'll go towards either, but whoever holds it, they're making interest on it. Right. I think we get a little bit of the interest, but they get most of it. That's the whole hoo-ha to it. So,
Yep.
All right. Where are we? So that was an interesting one. I mean, you talk to Devo, he's never going to retire. He's just always going to woodwork and do other things.